Welcome to another edition of Smark Chat here on YouTube.com, and thank you for watching, liking, subscribing to this channel. If you haven't done so, please do so right now. I do want to give you my thoughts from Raw, no particular order, and that was April the 4th of 2016. A Raw, typically, that's the highest rating on Raw, probably one of the highest for the year. As I'm making this video, the Raw rating was 2.93. Not exactly high, is it? Felt to me like it was, considering what we've seen from prior Raws right after WrestleMania. This one was a little bland, but we definitely did see some cool things. You had some NXT talent debut. You had Cass and Enzo Amore debut. You had Apollo Crews debut. And Baron Corbin debuted on Raw as well. As far as Enzo and Cass, touted as one of the most entertaining tag teams of NXT. Now, obviously, I'm sure we know that the crowd, the Raw after WrestleMania, is a different crowd. And boy, when Enzo and Cass were out there, they knew their introduction, the crowd, line by line. With Enzo and Cass, it'll be interesting to see, and boy, were they over. It got a loud pop. Be interesting to see if they will get that type of a reaction in, say, I don't know, Wyoming, Alabama. Don't expect it. Their valet that they have, Carmella, wasn't out there. And I think the reason why, maybe she will debut with them down the road. Maybe not, who knows. But I think the main reason why she wasn't there is because they wanted all the focus on Enzo and Cass and not have the audience stare at that hot piece of attractiveness in Carmella. But I don't, who knows, but I don't think that really maybe would have even made a difference with the type of crowd that it was there. They would have probably done both. Apollo Crews kind of has like a Bobby Lashley look to him. But Apollo Crews, I know he was excited. Big guy, intimidating, jacked up guy. Initial thoughts, he smiles too much. Baron Corbin, tall guy, tatted up, got the look. With him, the announce team really didn't do him any favors. Where was the emphasis on this guy supposed to be a big monster, lone wolf? Where was the emphasis on his finisher, the End of Days? Just me anyway. You also had the return of Cesaro. Good to see Cesaro back. This guy is crisp. Does everything in the ring. It comes naturally to him. He's hopefully he could stay healthy, because he has a period of time there with Cesaro. He gets something going, then gets injured. I think now he's finally, right before he left, he was connecting with the crowd. Does that swing, and then he got injured. Hopefully, with him back, he could stay healthy and continue to connect with the crowd, and he might be a champion. I could see it. Speaking of champions and, I was kind of a little bit surprised that we didn't see Dean Ambrose at Raw, nor did we see Brock Lesnar. But just my thoughts on Dean Ambrose there. I don't know. Do I ever see him being a champion? Maybe, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. And you shouldn't be hurt by that either. A lot of people never were champions. Doesn't mean anything. I don't think Tully Blanchard was a champion. Rowdy Piper wasn't a heavyweight champion. How believable is this lunatic fringe that they label him as? Does Dean Ambrose really seem that crazy to you guys? Not to me, at least. Maybe they should change that up a bit. Just a thought there. What else? Wade Barrett, on his way out, found it kind of funny that the crowd was chanting Shana Nana, was it? Hey, goodbye. And they were chanting Bobby Roode as Wade Barrett was being kicked out of League of Nations. Wade Barrett, the rumor is, and it looks like it's happening, that Wade Barrett is on his way out, not renewing his contract. Thank you, Wyatts, when the Wyatt family then attacked the League of Nations. and it's cool. I mean, it was cool to see, and maybe this is where they're going with the Wyatts, just attacking everyone and anyone. Hopefully the Wyatts have a program soon, because right now they are in limbo. And that chant of Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode is Canadian. Do you see him joining the League of Nations? I do. I said that if in fact he does sign, which the rumor is probably he will sign. I did say that. I remember a couple of these episodes ago that I could see Bobby Roode being in the League of Nations. It'll be interesting to see if that comes into if that comes true or not. Roman Reigns, your WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And I got a kick out of Roman Reigns today. Been a big Roman Reigns supporter. I got a kick out of Roman Reigns. Listen, they didn't say much. He said, I'm not a good guy. I'm not a bad guy. I am the guy. Said it smug, cocky, douchebag type of way. And I think maybe that's what he needs to do. I don't think the WWE, looking at it, thinking about it, the WWE won't turn him heel. They'll turn him heel when they want to turn him heel. Not when the crowd wants to turn him heel, like Bret Hart. When the crowd, when pretty much with Bret Hart is they were forced to turn him heel. If you remember years back with when he was against Stone Cold Steve Austin. I liked Roman Reigns' mannerisms in the ring on Raw. Kind of just relaxing, looking cool. You had AJ Styles come in the ring as being one of the guys that wanted to, have a shot at the title, thinking they should be the number one contender. When AJ Styles comes in that opening, one of the opening segments there, and Roman Reigns is in the ring, and then Jericho's in the ring, Sami Zayn. Did you see that when AJ Styles came in the ring? Roman Reigns was like, come on, guy, what are you serious? Like, get out of here. I thought that was funny. I was chuckling a bit. And AJ Styles, man, I tell you, doesn't get the biggest of reactions. And you notice it. It's polite reactions at best. I know it changed in the main event, but I think this is perfect. Perfect with AJ Styles being the number one contender against Roman Reigns. The reason why I think it's perfect is you remember Chris Jericho, his whole thing, and The Miz's whole thing was to get Roman Reigns over. What better way? No, not sorry. Chris Jericho's and Miz's thing was to get AJ Styles over, not Roman Reigns. But what better way in the WWE to continue to get AJ Styles over is to have him go against the biggest unofficial heel in Roman Reigns. For the crowd out there, you know, this is a temporary thing, and I think it's brilliant. Who are you going to root for? Roman Reigns or AJ Styles? I think the crowd will take AJ Styles, and I think this is perfect for further eliminating, further enhancing AJ Styles, putting him up there. Do I think he's going to win the title? No. Too early. But this is brilliant and getting a bigger reaction each week for AJ Styles. And Roman Reigns, he needs to, I think, to be that borderline gray babyface heel for the time being, until, which I think the inevitable is that he will turn heel. But again, it will be on WWE's decision. Speaking of The Miz, he won the title against Zack Ryder. Kind of mentioned it in my WrestleMania thoughts. I didn't see how Zack Ryder never won a match in God knows for how long, gets thrown in the match 2 weeks later. With all due respect to Zack Ryder, and then he's the world champion. I said that it kind of felt weird. And Miz is the champion now. And just that whole interaction with Zack Ryder and his father. After Maurice interferes, Miz does the skull-crushing finale on Zack Ryder. Zack's father, instead of helping Zack, is just staring at Maurice. Like, son, are you okay? He's too focused on Maurice. I just thought that was a little awkward. Gotta give props to Charlotte Flair. Okay. I think being, in recent weeks, I think her promo has become a lot better. And she's improved on the mic. Last thing. The thing that doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, before I say that. It's funny, and I know they kind of sped along the storyline with the League of Nations kicking out Wade Barrett. They said that Wade Barrett is the weakest link. But meanwhile, just at WrestleMania, he helped the League of Nations win. I understand they have to speed it up, get him out since he's on his way out, and Wade Barrett. I get it. Just thought that was a little funny. Speaking of funny, I don't get in storyline how the whole thing was Shane McMahon loses, he is on his way out, does not run Raw at all, loses in quote-unquote in storyline his inheritance, and he loses to The Undertaker, and he still gets to run Raw. Now, in storyline, that didn't make sense. And if you're Shane McMahon, wouldn't you want to turn everything upside down, new everything, since you hate the way Raw is being run, what's going on with Raw? And it was pretty much the same, aside from Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin, and Kaz and Enzo appearing. How was Raw different in storyline? And Shane McMahon wants to change everything. If you're running the ship, wouldn't you want to change everything upside down? Now I could see this, who knows what's going to happen. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe Shane McMahon does now stick around for a period of time. And the storyline happens where it's a conflict between the Authority and Shane McMahon and Vince McMahon. Because God knows we can't see the Authority feuding with Roman Reigns again. It's enough. It's interesting to see with this little curve with Shane McMahon all of a sudden running Raw, where that will go. Something tells me that he will continue to run Raw next week. And we'll see how this goes on, further develops. But just some of my thoughts from Raw. Not usually a Raw. Didn't live up to the expectation of a Raw after WrestleMania in prior years. But still a pretty good Raw nonetheless. I hope all is well, and I look forward to speaking very, very soon.